Here's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when they're investing in real estate. And this is like a really, really big issue that, a lot of people kind of struggle with, but you're also not set up for success. So I understand why it might look scary or why you might not be able to take advantage of these specific conditions. But I would definitely encourage you to save money and put it into something that cash flows for you, but is also liquid, right? So you invest as much as you possibly can into liquid assets or things that you can pull from if you need to, but are also creating cash flow for you. And here's the reason. In a recession, which we're in a recession right now, in this type of market, you will see real estate softening. And because the market softens, people are like, oh, wow, these houses, they dropped in value. Why would I buy a house right now? What if it keeps going down? Now, if you think about why they dropped, it actually, makes perfect sense because interest rates went up. So when you're buying a house now, your payment is literally the same or higher than somebody who bought a house that was maybe $100,000 or $200,000 more than what your house is right now. So if you're buying, let's say, a $400,000 house now with the high interest rates, your payment is the same or higher as somebody who bought a house in the bull market when interest rates were low and their house is probably worth $600,000, $700,000. It's ridiculous. Like if you literally just go and do the math, you'll see that the payments are identical, or sometimes you're paying more now with today's interest rates. Now, there's something behind all this. There's good news behind all this. Think about it like this. Interest rates are always changing. They're always coming out with some reason that they're hawkish or dovish or, whatever they want to say. But typically you'll see that the higher interest rates happen in a recession. And then in order to get us out of a recession, they're going to start giving us cheap money. And so how do you stimulate an economy? Well, theoretically, the way you stimulate an economy is you provide cheap money. How do you provide cheap money? That's low interest rates, right? That means that business owners are like, oh, sweet, I can borrow money with 1% interest or 2% interest. You start pumping all that cheap money into the market, you bet the economy is going to start expanding and growing and using that money to grow. You want to use money when it's cheap, not when it's expensive. Right now it's expensive. Nobody's really doing too much in business right now. They are strategically waiting for when money is not going to be expensive. And so naturally, not a lot of people have access to cash. And so the smart investors, of course, they did stockpile some cash and they're able to use that cash for these different investments. But at the same time, it gives us an opportunity to still purchase real estate. So back to my whole real estate thing, we're talking about real estate and why I think that right now actually may be the best time for us to buy. This may be the best opportunity in our entire lives to buy real estate, because I believe that real estate prices are going to continue going up. Now, not in every market, not everywhere, but that's my personal opinion. So what can I do about that? Interest rates are so high. Oh no, I'm going to have to pay like 10% interest. That's ridiculous, right? But there's good news here. I can lock in today's prices and then I can refinance with tomorrow's interest rate. Because tomorrow, Jerome Powell and they might decide that they're going to announce, hey, this is happening with the economy. This is what we're going to do about it. Inflation's this, inflation's that, whatever. And they start giving us cheap money. Once they start giving us cheap money, all of a sudden, the prices of real estate are going to go right back up. And they're going to go up because, again, this all has to do with payments. Nobody's necessarily buying houses cash. Some people do, yes, but at the same time, think about it. This all has to do with what the average American can afford or what the market can afford. And that's why jobs have to do with it, unemployment rates, all these different things. They have like a very strong correlation with real estate. And so if the general market can afford, let's say, a $2,000 a month payment, what does that get me today with today's interest rates? And I need to have a house that these people are going to be in demand of, right? If a $2,000 a month payment, they're requiring a 2-bedroom house, 3-bed, 2-bath, maybe 1,500 square feet, nothing too big. And if that's what the average market need is, and that's what the average market can afford, that's what the average market is going to give you. But guess what? All of a sudden, when people start making more money and on average, people can afford that same house, all of a sudden interest rates are going down. So the prices are going up and that house is now worth $600,000 instead of $400,000. And it's still the same payment every month because that's what the average buyer can afford. And so at the end of the day, it depends on what the market wants and also how much they're willing to spend and how much they can afford. These are all factors that are very, very important to this whole formula. So right now is the opportunity for many investors to get ahead because they can get real estate at prices that are suitable for their needs. I would honestly, like, the way I would do it, if there's a house that I wanted to buy, I would buy it right now. And I would buy it even if I could, like, just barely afford the monthly payment. I would actually overpay and pay more than I'm willing to pay every month just to lock in the house that I want, because I'm locking in the house, not the interest rate. Like, I might get the interest rate for now, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years past, when the interest rates are near zero, I can refinance and get a 3% interest rate. And that's a real thing, guys. Like, that's really how it works. And so it's a great opportunity to lock in the real estate that you want now, because that's what's important. The interest rate is not important. The value of the house is kind of important, but what's really important is the location. And so if you're locking in a location that you like because the price is good now, this is your opportunity to lock in that dream piece of real estate and then refinance it later on and get the preferred interest rate that you want. That's kind of how this game is played. And I know a lot of people, they're not set up for success right now because the economy isn't doing so well, and a lot of people got laid off and they don't have the same capital that they used to. But that's why in the good times, we save money, we invest it into things that are cash flowing for us, so that in times like this, we're good. We have cash flow. And at the same time, we have investments that we can pull from. We have cash flowing investments that are still liquid enough to, if we need to pull capital from there to buy a house, we can do that. That's one of the most important things about investing, at least in my portfolio, is to have at least part of it that's accessible. And so that's how I built my portfolio. I think it's important to lock in real estate prices when they're good, because the interest rates are always going to be changing. They're going to be going up and down, and we can always refinance and get a better interest rate. But the important part is locking in the most advantageous price possible. Alrighty, guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next video.